by Councilmember Avila. Any objections? Seeing none, so moved. Thank you very much. All right, so at this point, I'd like to open up the Baldwin Park City Council regular virtual meeting. Today's October the 21st, October 2020. The time is 7:15. I'd like to
Mayor, you're cutting off.
the Finance Authority. Oh, can everyone hear me now? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Mayor.
All right, thank you. All right, so at this point, I just open up the Ballpark City Council as well as the Finance Authority and the Housing Authority. So at this point, I will ask our Deputy City Clerk to roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Alejandra Avila.
Here.
Councilmember Gina Ayala.
Here.
Councilmember Monica Garcia.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez.
Present.
And Mayor Lozano.
Present. Thank you very much. I believe we also have our City Treasurer, Ms. Maria Contreras, online as well, just for the record. All right. Before we go on, at this point, I'd like to close on behalf of a good friend, Ms. Irene Jimenez, a longtime resident of our city, very active with our seniors and was at every concert, enjoyed dancing, enjoyed being around. Want to miss her. Her services is at the end of the month. So our deepest condolences goes out to her husband, Mr. Hector Jimenez, and as well as the beautiful family, which is a big family in Baldwin Park. So our condolences goes out to the family. Council members wishing to close on anyone's behalf? All right, so if not at this point, I'm not
Mayor.
sure, excuse me, if we have Pastor Flores that will lead us in.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, it's Councilmember Monica Garcia. I also want to give my condolences to the Jimenez family. And I would also like to close on behalf of Felicitas Covarrubias, a longtime Baldwin Park resident. And she raised her family in Baldwin Park. Very sweet lady, very feisty lady, and always a pleasure and just such a sweetheart. So she will be dearly missed by her family. My niece Victoria Garcia, my nephew Nicholas Garcia, they've lost their grandmother, and I just want to give my condolences to the Covarrubias family, and close on her behalf again. Just always, she will be missed, sorely missed. Just her little nuances, and again, just I'm sorry, I'm just stuttering and going on and on and on, but she was just such a special lady, and I just want to pay her the tribute that she deserves, because she did her best. She was a single mother, raising many daughters and a son, and that's not easy to do. And I just know that she put her heart into her family and did the best that she could. She was an immigrant from Mexico, and so just want to pay tribute to her and to her. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Monica Garcia. Anyone else? All right, so at this point, I will ask us if you could please stand. We will pledge allegiance to the flag. Can everyone hear me? Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much, everyone that's joined us. We will go over to the agenda, which we have the 2020 election update presented by Chief Deputy City Clerk Lourdes Morales. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Vice
We
Mayor.
have Dr. Flores on for the
Oh, yes.
invocation.
Okay, yes,
For-
and I had asked that earlier.
Sorry about
Yes,
that.
Dr. Flores. We'll listen in invocation.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. Let us pray. Lord, we welcome your presence into this meeting. Lord, we thank you for the privilege we have to love you and to serve your people. Lord, we're mindful of those who are in crisis, who have experienced tragedy and loss of life today. We offer prayers, Lord, of comfort and consolidation, Lord, that they can feel your presence and know that you are there. May your peace be felt. We pray for wisdom tonight, God, that as we move forward as a city, you continue to give us wisdom that leads to understanding and insight. Help us, Lord, to think godly, Lord, to think of people, Lord, to think of the city, God. I thank you for the mayor and all council, Lord, that give of their time and their effort in this service, Lord. May you guard them and protect them, Lord. Bless our people, our police department today. We commit this time to you. In the wonderful name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Dr. Flores. Appreciate it. Thank you for what your parish does, the food distribution. Well, okay, council members, we now we'll go into the 2020 election update, and that will be conducted by Chief Deputy City Clerk, Ms. Lourdes Morales.
Okay. So this is again an update on the upcoming November election. So just to reiterate what was said at the last meeting, or sorry, 2 meetings ago, there have been protocols that have been implemented for workers as well as for voters to safeguard those that want to vote in person. So the workers are self-screened. They're practicing physical distancing. They have wash stations, sorry, at their convenience, and they have disinfecting protocols as well. There is a specific layout that they have for these centers and very strict requirements. I did want to mention that ballots have gone out to voters, and if anyone hasn't received their vote by mail, they should visit LA County Registrar Recorder's Office at lavote.net to obtain that ballot. So we do have the 24 drop-off box that's available 24 hours. One is at Kaiser and one was at the public library in Baldwin Park. Unfortunately, that was set on fire on Sunday. And so it seems like it wasn't a federal crime. I think it was just a random act of vandalism, or so that's what it seems. They were able to recover ballots, 231 ballots. And the county did provide me with an update on that. So they are currently in the possession of the Registrar Recorder's Office. They're inspecting and recovering ballots to identify as many voters as possible. They do have a direct line, and they also have a website. So the direct number, if you were impacted by this incident, is 562-503-2445. And there's a website, BBM Dropoff at rrclacounty.gov, and we'll include that on our website for those who were impacted by this. They're encouraged to call. The great thing about having the ballots turned in so early is that we have time to get those ballots, to get those voters, to vote again if needed. So the new drop-off location is right in City Hall. It's directly across from the Baldwin Park Police Department. It's the same ballot box. It has the same features. You can drive up to it. Public Works painted the curbside yellow. Thank you, Sam. And actually, this works a little better because we have the parking structure in case anyone needs to be needs the ramp for accessibility. There are two sides to this box. As you can see, there's one, a drivable slot, and behind it is a walkable one. This is being, there will be, sorry, extra surveillance. We have cameras directly on this ballot box, and I've also been working with the Chief of Police to ensure that deputies are making rounds, making it safer. Additionally, the county will start picking the ballots up every 24 hours for all the locations. Before they were doing 2 to 3 days, now it's 24 hours. So the day you drop it off, it will be picked up the next day. If you vote in person, you are required to wear a mask, a face covering, practice social distancing, use hand sanitizer. They do encourage voters to utilize that ballot pass. If you go onto the website, there's a sample ballot and you can extract, there's sort of like a barcode where you can extract, you can pre-select your items, and once you vote, you just scan your phone into the system and it picks it right up, and all you do is cast your vote. It makes it easier, much more efficient, and you're in and out in no time. The early voting centers in Baldwin Park will begin October 30th. The only voting center available now is the Norwalk headquarters, and that's located at 12400 Imperial in Norwalk. However, the Baldwin Park locations that will have early voting are the Baldwin Park Library, Foster Elementary, and Walnut Elementary. Like I mentioned before, there's a particular vote center layout, and it was very detailed in how we were going to ensure that there were safety precautions for voters who wanted to vote in person. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't been. Mark or David? Yeah. Can we go back to the ballot box, the pictures near the front of the Baldwin Park Police Department, just to get a visual?
The PowerPoint I have doesn't have photographs. I'm going to have to look in my emails and see if there's another draft.
That's okay. Thank you. Okay, and for more information, I did include the links. I have posted information on our website, on social media. The newsletter did go out and it did have the previous location, but we will be updating all of the website to include the new location for the Dropbox. And I just want to really thank the Registrar Recorder's Office for just acting swiftly. There was a fire. They had their team on site fairly quickly. They've been working with us to ensure that we had a replacement right away. So they've been great, and I hope that this doesn't discourage voters from voting. If you wish to vote in person and you feel more comfortable, you are more than welcome to drop off the actual ballot, the vote by mail ballot, at a voting center as well. So you can include that same ballot that you were mailed and drop it off at a voting center. There you go. Yeah, thank you. And that's the new drop-off location. And that concludes my presentation.
All right, Matt, I just want to ask a very quick question, or I'll ask it at the end. That's fine. All right, thank you very much for that presentation as well. Can you?
Mayor,
Yes.
I just want to thank Lulu for all the work you've been putting into this. As it is, election year is a lot of work. And to top it off this year, we get a pandemic, so the voting situation changes. And now we get this fire here in Baldwin Park. And you've just been on top of things. So thank you, Lulu, for keeping us informed and posted on everything that's going on and working with the county. I know it's been more work for you this year, but I want you to know that I appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you, Councilmember Avila. It's our job. We really want to ensure that the residents have that service available. I don't want anyone to have fears. We want to ensure that that service is back and running. It has been a tough election, and I thank you for your words and your support.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Alejandra Avila. At this point, the next presentation is the domestic.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes. Monica Garcia.
Thank you. So, Lulu, I'm sorry, when you were speaking, I don't know if it was my phone that was cutting out or if you cut out, but did you tell us how many ballots, were in the box, the drop box at the time of the fire?
231 ballots were recovered. The last pickup time they had or date was Friday. So these ballots, the 231 ballots that were calculated, were dropped off on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, because according to Supervisor Hilda Solis's press release, the last pickup was on Saturday, October 17th at 10:10. So is that correct or incorrect? Because that's what I posted.
Oh, that's probably correct. I'll check back and I'll make sure that we have the right information. But if that's what they posted, then I might have received the late information, or
Okay.
you may have the updated information. But we'll
because what I've informed the public through my social media is if they dropped off a ballot after 10:10 a.m. I guess on October 17th, that they should contact a certain number. But do you know what's happening with those ballots that were recovered? If they were all able to be traced back to the voter, or do you know what the status is of that? Because people are asking.
So yes, the LA County Registrar Recorder's Office just informed me. I received this email at 5:30. So they did recover ballots. It seems like they don't have an exact amount of the ballots that they were able to identify. They just are saying that they identified as many as they could. And those that were identified are being contacted personally to ensure that they provide another ballot to cast a vote.
Now, so Ludus, you bring up an important subject. So 231, but do we know how many of the 231 were actually were not damaged, and or is there no estimate out of that 231? In other words,
no, not at this time. It sounds like they were able to recover most, but they don't have an exact number at this time.
Okay, all right. Of the ones that were readable for them, I guess, or whatever information.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Wow, that's interesting. All right, well, keep us in contact on that. Thank you.
Will do.
All right, thank you very much. All right, anyone else wishing to bring anything up? All righty. So okay. So at this point, we don't have anything else. We'll go over to the domestic violence presentation presented by Community Service Officer Cynthia Espinosa.
Good evening, Mayor and council members and everyone else listening. How are you?
Good evening. Thank you.
Okay, so before I start with the presentation, I wanted to share with you all that this month I had 2 awesome invitations to talk about the domestic violence program within our department. And the first invitation was October 14, and it was with Spectrum News. And this morning I was part of Senator Susan Rubio's panel for domestic violence, domestic violence program. So I was talking to them about what we do here with our city with the program. So I wanted you guys to be informed that I was doing that this month, or that I did that this month. Okay, so can you go to the next? Thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about the program like I have before, but also within the slides here, I have stats for you guys for comparing 2019 and 2020, just so you guys could get an idea of what's happening or what we're seeing now. So again, what are we doing to help our community is of domestic violence? We contact the victims, we explore safety options with them, we talk to them about counseling, and we do the personal support. We assist them with restraint orders if needed, and we assist district attorneys with relocation if there is needed. Next, please. And we give them the help hotlines. We talk about shelters, legal help, suggest monitor visitations with everything happening right now. A lot of parents are afraid to leave the kids with the parent or vice versa. We talk about personal safety planning. We're also talking about self-defense training. And if needed, I do go to the court system with the victims. And we're also helping out with the U visas for immigration. It's an immigration relief. And the referrals to other organizations where I'm going to be on the next slide. And then I work hand in hand with the detectives to support ongoing investigations on domestic violence. The referrals that we have within our here in our department and people that we work partnership with is Neighborhood Legal Services, the Victims Compensation and Government Claims Board, Women in Need Growing Strong, which is the WINGS, Victim Information and Notification Every Day, which is VINE, and that's an 800 number what we give them. So when the abusers are released from jail, they could actually get a text and some sort of notification to let them know that they have been released. Excuse me. And then I also work really close with the LA County advocates for the court system. And then one thing that I wanted to kind of share a little bit, which I don't know if I have before, but we obviously talk to them about the shelters that are available for them. And that's a little tricky because a lot of the victims do not want to go into the shelters because of the 72 hour, sometimes isolation, or 48 hours. They need to make sure that they go to work and school. So one thing that we do have here with our local hotels is that if I have a victim and they have nowhere to go and they just need to figure out what they want to do, I call our local hotels here and I ask if we could get what's it called? Like a night there for them to stay there with them, and or to give them a room for a couple of days, no more than 48 hours. Sometimes our hotels or the managers there are really good with us, so they'll go ahead and leave them there a little longer until we figure out what they're going to do, or if they want to go back home until they feel safe. So I think it's something that it needs to be known so they know that we do work with our hotels here. Okay, our next. All right, and what are we doing right now in the process that we communicate with the victims? It's either by phone call, email, person-to-person appointments, and that's how we actually keep in charge, in communication with them to make sure that they have the information that they need in regards to their case. Okay, next. Okay, so this is something that I know you guys were interested in knowing, so we have it here for you guys. So this is just so you know, this is year-to-date stats. So in 2019, we had 125 cases that were actually reported. So we have misdemeanors, there were 37 cases with the 16 arrests, 6 rejected, 10 no arrest and they're still under investigation. And then underneath that in 2019, we had 88 cases on felonies. So those are a little bit more aggressive. We had 55 arrests, 5 rejected, and 28 no arrests, but it's still under investigation. That was in 2019. Compared to 2020, right now with COVID and everything, we're in October and we have 100 cases already, and we have 23 misdemeanors, 6 arrests, 2 rejected, 10 no arrests under investigation, and then we have 77 cases of felony cases. 28 arrested, 11 have been rejected, and we have 35 no arrests and under investigation. So that's from the beginning of the year to now, and we're only October 21st. So are we going to have higher number? Yes, we think that it's going to go up to a little bit over 150 probably with everything that's happening. And one of the other things that we're seeing that I don't have stats on that I know for sure is affecting everything too is the homes with the kids being there and everybody being at home at the same time and all that. So we're hoping obviously that our numbers don't go up too much, but this is what we have right now. I know that this was something, like I said, that was really important. So if you guys have any questions on this particular slide, I'm more than happy, to help you guys with that.
Yes, Cynthia.
Yes.
Of the misdemeanor and the felony cases, do you have or do you track, are those all new cases or are these repeat offenders?
It all depends, but if that's something that we could do, we could actually find out. I'm going to tell you that it's probably repeated offenders on the misdemeanors. Felonies is a little bit different, but we would have to, I can't give you that detail, but yeah, we would need to check.
Okay, no, thank you. And so for my next question is, for those people that are repeat offenders for the misdemeanors or so, what type of actions are we taking to, help those victims even further or, or prevent this as much as possible?
Right. So definitely I'll answer that question. So,
thank you.
Okay. So, I've seen a few people that have come to see me a few times. And one thing that I do want you guys to know is that I myself take this really serious because you guys know that I'm a survivor of domestic violence. So what we do, or what I do along with everything, is that we don't give up on them. We try to do as much as we can. I mean, there's so much that we could do for them, as far as I can't force them to go into shelters. I can't, we can't do that, but we don't turn our backs on them. So we try to do as much as we can. And something else that you have to remember too is that sometimes it's not what we are doing, but sometimes the court system is the one that kind of turns the things around, because they're the ones that are doing most of the rejection or the whatever the case is going to be. But we do not, give up. I try to do as much as I can with the resources that we have. And if I don't have the resources here, like I said, I do work along with the court system and other advocates around the area. So I'll reach out to them and see what we could do together to help out. One of the things that I've noticed that sometimes when they go to court, they don't want a restraining order. So we're hoping that in the future, we actually, like when we first began this program, we used to do the restraining orders here. I was able to do that. I was connected with the court system. And I'm hoping that that's something else that we could bring in. So that's going to make a huge difference as well. Once that restraining order, sometimes they kind of feel a little bit more protected and they want to do more and, get out of the relationship.
Right. And then one last question.
Sure.
Do you have a breakdown? If you have another slide, you can just tell me. In regards to how many of these are juveniles?
I don't have juveniles, but even if I did have juveniles, that's something that it's not, because it's a different court system. I wouldn't have them on here, but I could tell you that from these cases here, there's not that many juvies within these numbers. But I don't have that. If that's something different that you guys want to do, I could go ahead and get that, obviously on another date, but we could do that.
No, yes, I mean, it does help. Obviously, that information would be helpful because, again, if we're seeing this happen either at the high school level or at the junior high level, maybe that's something that we could circle back with the school district,
right?
And mention to them or share with them, as they probably already know.
Right.
So we can provide some additional messaging and so forth for not only for the students, but also for the parents, so they can be more aware of these type of activities that
Right.
are happening.
Definitely. And funny that you say that, because one of the presentations, the morning presentation that I did today, that was actually something that I did mention. When we think about domestic violence, and I think this is something that I think we all think that domestic violence really, we think of, married couples and older couples and relationships that have been together for a long time. But I know for a fact that domestic violence starts at a very young age. I mean, I've seen a few years back doing this. My youngest that I've helped has been 13 years old, 13 with a 16-year-old and all that. So one of the reasons why I think it's really important when I was doing the presentations at the high school is because you get to know really what's going on within our teens. And I think to prevent something, that's where we would have to start. So I agree with you. I think that talking to the teens, the school district, to actually talk about this, and it would be the teen dating is very important.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so these are the numbers, and then Mark, can you change the slide for me, please? And then, of course, with all that said, and then we have the additional cases and victims that that we help out, which is the child abuse cases, rape cases, and then family disturbance. And that's if an officer requests my help with that, or a detective, or referral by somebody else, then I go ahead and try to help them out as well. And then you guys have seen the past of how it works and what we do when the calls come through. If there's an arrest, arrest. If photos are taken, we give them the Marcy law. The domestic violence referral, which is a little card that we have with a bunch of different resources. And it all depends. Every case is different. So all this is just to kind of give you and everybody an idea. And this is from the police officers. And then go ahead, Mark. And then we have the detective, the process of it once they do their part of it, just how it goes to court, what court looks for, if they're going to be sending, the Department of Children's Services, if it's going to be a misdemeanor, felony, and rejected. So this is another information for you guys. Next, Mark. And then, of course, what I do with the contact of the victim, it doesn't matter if there's been an arrest or no arrest. For me, either one, I have to focus on whatever they need. So I make sure that whatever victim comes in here, I give them the information that they're requesting. Like I said before, every, it doesn't matter who it is, every case is different. So all the resources that I give are always going to be, they're not always going to be the same. They're going to be different. Okay, so do you guys have any questions on those particular slides?
Yes, if I may, please go on.
Excuse me?
Just go ahead, Cynthia.
Anyway, so that's my presentation. I hope that I give you guys more information in regards to the numbers. And again, I could work on finding out about the juvies for you, Paul, if you like me to, for the future, and start taking that different and making sure that we kind of look at that as well.
Right, and just based on the last presentation that when you came, in regards to also looking for grant funds and so forth, are you still tracking the number of referrals that you're giving? That was something that we asked of the last time you presented, because again, not all, as you mentioned in the past, not all of these go towards the court system, but it also helps us as we look for additional funds to be tracking the number of referrals that you're giving and or staff are giving.
I do. Yeah, we do. And one of the things that we do, and I think you guys are aware too, is that I do a monthly report for that I have to do anyways. So that we track that way. And then I started doing additional for my U visas as well. And I know the other one thing that I wasn't doing in particularly like in detail was the walk-ins and the phone calls and stuff like that. So I'm kind of doing that as well. I have the Excel sheet and everything. So yes, to your answer, yes, I'm doing that.
Can you provide that? Can you just email that to us at your convenience? We
Yeah, of
appreciate
course.
that. Thank you.
And it's gonna be just numbers, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cynthia.
Yes. Hi, Monica. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're sharing, the good work with others outside of our city. So I do want to say thank you for, your work and your assistance in helping these victims of domestic violence, especially during these very challenging times.
Right.
And I did want to ask you, early on when we started this program, we were offering food vouchers and diapers and hotel vouchers, just whatever, to assist with immediate needs.
Right.
Are we still doing that?
We are not doing it as much as we used to, because remember, everything was donated through the like Walmart would donate like certain stuff and all that. And that was when we had that little shelter or whatever that little building is across the way. And we kind of stopped that. What I can tell you is that when we have families like that, I'm going to be very frank with you. We actually, sometimes it's we, the officers, or myself or whatever, we pretty much sometimes just end up doing it ourselves. If, we know that they're in need, we actually, we buy diapers or food or whatever it is, but we don't have like the actual donations like we used to before. And before, you have to remember too that I was more active with that, trying to get all the donations from different organizations and all that, because that's the only thing that I was pretty much doing. And then there were some changes, and that whole donation stopped.
Yeah, I'd like to see how we can provide that, Shannon, because I think that when there is a victim of domestic violence that's with children and may not know where to go, being able to provide a hotel voucher while we figure things out and help them find a safe place,
right? And
then also just to perhaps just to be able to get the milk or diapers, right, or whatever, because oftentimes in these types of incidents, you just leave with what you have. So Shannon, I'd like to see how we can supplement, how we can look at providing that type of assistance, because it is something that we, it was part of this role early on. And so I'd like to see how we can sustain that. It is very important in the, to address like the immediate needs, as well as the, longer term, if somebody does decide to press charges and go through the court system.
Right.
So that was a big piece of this as well. So, so Shannon, let's see how we can, where we can identify, those types of resources for hotel vouchers and food vouchers, where it's, where the victim may need it.
And Monica, just to on the hotel vouchers, like I said, I mean, we've been very fortunate with the hotels here, that if it's an emergency and it's something that we need right away, I mean, the sergeants will, even if I'm not here, they'll call me and say, hey, do we have any vouchers? If we don't have vouchers here, I'll reach out to the manager or the managers, and till this day, they have not denied us help, because we make sure that the victims that we're going to put on, into these rooms too, are actually in need of that. So I know for a fact that if that was something that we could, put together, I don't think we would have too much of a hard time doing that, because there are people out there that are willing to help us out.
You know what? Thank you very much, Councilmember Monica Garcia. Did you want to say anything else?
No, I think Shannon was going to answer.
Oh.
Yes, no, I took notes, and I think that should be easy for us to provide some of those things to assist people in need.
Yeah, let me first of all let everyone know I still use them. Let's say a homeless person, just about, what's that? Maybe a couple of weeks ago, Gene, one that was living out of a car, was unaware of the resources, and Park or Recreation. I will, if not, refer over to the Terry Muse Center. There are existing resources that are available, the foods, the distribution, and a multitude. But you know what, Cynthia, what you're saying, so are you saying that Walmart is not providing anything? Is that what
Well, we not that I'm not saying that they're not providing, but not to the extent that we used to have them from do. I mean, they used to. I don't know if Monica remembers, but we used to have boxes of diapers, shampoos. I mean, everything that was either a little damage or something. We stopped that. They because we didn't have somewhere to put it. We used to have it across the way, and it's not because I'm sure it's not because they don't want to give us to us anymore or anything like that. But I'm not quite sure what happened in the whole concept.
So
When we
definitely follow up, because I don't that what you're saying right now is definitely not the Walmart I know.
No.
Hold on. Allow me to speak. Okay, someone needs to check with them and follow up, because they are accessible and they have been provided, and they've even told me directly. So I don't know how that came in, and if so, then I'll get in contact with someone, because we need to, again, we're having the weekends. Every other weekend, we have different participants that are providing foods. And one that I just met with yesterday on a Zoom, they're from the San Fernando Valley, which will be coming out here to give diapers and give all kinds of goods. So I'm meeting with them this coming Friday, so see if we could set something up for the community. So is Baldwin Park providing these resources? Absolutely, they have. And my biggest resource when it comes to the hotel for the homeless is I directly write to Manny Carrillo or Armando, and that's been there. So
yeah, no, and I understand that, but the question that she was, I think maybe I misunderstood, but when they were asking me, I'm thinking about here, when they come here, I do also send them over to the Parks and Recs. So I'm talking about the park. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but yeah.
So I want to make it clear that the city is providing this, because I'm using the resources for the homeless people or individuals that don't have a place to stay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Hi, this is Alejandra.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good to hear. You look well last time I saw you. I just want to say I'm very proud and I'm thankful for the commitment that you have given our community. I've seen the work you've done. I've mentioned it before, and I see the trust the community members have in you. And we're very lucky to have a person like you that's not just doing a job, but is completely committed to helping every single person that comes across your way. So I just want to thank you. And yes, it would be nice if you can get all those resources back. I know it would take a lot of work for you to do to get Walmart and all of them to donate again, but do use the community center in the meantime,
right?
To get those vouchers and food or whatever they have, but you still need to make those connections back again with Walmart and all those people that were making the donations to you. But again, I just want to thank you. You're such a committed person. You have a beautiful heart, and we're very lucky to have you here. Our community members are lucky that they can go to someone that they can trust. So thank you again.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Yeah, and Cynthia,
yes, sir.
Do me a big favor.
Sure.
Could you provide in the future the stats? Please place them on Excel on an actual graph, so that we're able to kind of look at it and interpret it. I would really.
Oh,
okay.
Appreciate
that. Okay, kind of gives it more of an idea of the general.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do.
Anyone else wishing to participate, or any other information? All right. So if not, at this point, I want to thank you very much, as always, Cynthia. I know you have a challenging job. Keep up the good work, and we'll knock on Walmart's door, because I'm going to call.
I will. Yeah, I will. Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, they're awesome, but I think I was referring to the actual program that Monica was talking about. I mean, I work with them very close, so I want to clear that up too. I mean, they've been very good to us as well. I just wanted to make sure that we're talking about the program that Monica was talking about. So, but thank you. I hope that I was able to answer a lot more of your questions, a little bit more on the clear picture. And again, if you guys have any questions, obviously I'm here to answer you guys' questions.
Yeah, and Cynthia, we understand these are challenging times, so I want to thank you for everything you do for the community.
Thank you. You guys have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Thank you very much. All right, so at this point, the two presentations have concluded. So prior to me going into that, I just need to read for the record, so then when we go on to the different other meetings. Let me just look for this. Okay, here we go. It reads the council are also members of the board of directors of the Housing Authority and Finance Authority, which are concurrently convening with the city council this evening, and each council member is paid an additional stipend of $30 for attending the Housing Authority meeting and $50 for attending the authority meeting. So just that has to be read for the record. So at this point, I will now open up the public communication. I will ask our deputy city clerk, how many callers do we have?
Mr. Mayor, we have 3. We had 1 for the public hearing, but it's my understanding that that's being held over. Are we opening we're not opening the public hearing?
No, no, the public communication.
Sure. So, okay. So the first one is Mr. Greg Tuttle. Let me try him.
All right, thank you. Appreciate
And
it.
Mayor, while we do that, if I could just announce that we have, we're asking people that need translation from a language other than English to let us know 48 hours ahead, so that we can make arrangements for an interpreter. It could be sign language or Mandarin or Spanish, but we're just asking in the future for people to notify us ahead of time.
Very good, thank you. Appreciate that.
Hello?
Mr. Tuttle, it's Manny Lozano. Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Sir.
Are we ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to make it clear to all the residents that the new electric company that your city started up, that when their rates go up, that I want them to make sure that they go down to the city council and that they protest. Because this sham deal that you guys did with the Baldwin Park electric deal is going to cause nothing but high rates for the residents. And it was very done improperly. They sent out 1 notice of a card, nothing in Spanish. So none of these people understand what's going on. And Mayor, I still want to know, did you ever pay back the $25,000 that your dad took out as a loan on his house? Also, I've warned the city manager and I've warned the city attorney that if the deputy city clerk can't translate correctly, I will turn her into the translation board. These are blatant attempts to not translate correctly my statements. Also, my attorney has tried 2 times to get Rose Tams, your finance director, to be deposed because of her not bringing in all the public information that we need. She keeps making excuses up, stressed, and all the other stuff. We will get to the truth of this, and we will keep after it until we do get her at a deposition. We want to know where the $7 million is missing. It isn't just an accounting error like Shannon says, and how the money was shuffled from the account, from different accounts to the housing, taken away from housing and then put into different accounts. Rose lied on her statement of facts with the Royalist case, saying that Royalist talked to me and gave me city information. But that was a lie. Rose is the only one that ever talks to me on special stuff and gives me information during election times, especially. I also am going to be checking public records to see if Jean Alla got taken off her car allowance since she doesn't have a driver's license or a car. This is not correct. And for the money that she did take, she's going to have to pay it back or we're going to prosecute. It's funny that Baldwin Park is the only city in the United States that gets a fire in their ballot box thing. It's very suspicious on what's going on in this election this year, but I hope it gets cured. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tuttle. Appreciate your input. All righty, so at this point, we'll go on to the next caller.
The next caller is Mr. John Rios.
Yes.
Please leave your message for 62638.
Okay. Would you like me to try him one more time?
Let's try one more time.
Please leave your message for.
That's fine. Okay, we tried. All right, is there a third person?
Yes, Catherine Lozer. She's from the library.
All right. Oh yeah, Catherine, a librarian, yes.
Hello?
Catherine, good evening. This is Manny Lozano, Mayor of Baldwin Park. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. Thank you so much for the call.
Thank you. We're giving you the public communications. At this point, you have 3 minutes.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, community partners, and fellow community members. My name is Catherine Lozier, and I am the community library manager of the Baldwin Park Library. As Ms. Morales detailed earlier in tonight's council session, the Baldwin Park Library will serve as one of the 3 vote centers here in Baldwin Park. In addition to all of the safety protocols that Ms. Morales detailed in tonight's council session, as well as the council session on September 16th, if somebody is not able to wear a mask, I just wanted to point out that we will be offering curbside voting, where we'll come out to the vehicle as well to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to vote. And speaking about voting, the LA County Library is very proud to be able to celebrate 100 years of the 19th Amendment. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the ratification and adoption of the 19th Amendment, which was done in August of 1920. And despite its passage, many women of color were barred from voting for decades through racial discrimination and intimidation. And to honor this centennial and the ongoing work towards achieving equality, the Los Angeles County Department of Arts and Culture has collaborated with the LA County Women and Girls Initiative to commission 6 artists to create commemorative artworks. And of those 6, the LA County Library has made 3 of these artworks into special edition library cards that are now available. The 3 card designs that we currently have are the artwork Unify by artist Amy Smith, the artwork Raise Your Voice by Laura Vasquez Rodriguez, and the artwork Resistance and Restitution by Moses X. Ball. If you wanted to see the 6 art pieces, you could go to the LA County Department of Arts and Culture's website. And to see the fantastic 3 library card designs that we have, you can go to lacountylibrary.org. And then we are offering still at the Baldwin Park Library sidewalk service. We can upgrade your cards to these special edition cards through our sidewalk service, and we can now actually issue library cards to those who've never had library cards before, also through sidewalk service. In addition, we were and are continuing to offer sidewalk service Monday through Friday, but now we are able to offer one evening. On Tuesday evening, our sidewalk service hours are now 12 to 7 p.m. with phone service from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we are continuing to offer sidewalk service from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. with phone service available from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. To get a hold of us or for any other services we may be able to offer you, please go ahead and give us a call at 626-962-6947. And thank you so much for everything everybody has done this week. It was a tough start, but it's looking up from here.
Absolutely. And thank you, Catherine, our librarian, who does a phenomenal job and for keeping a part of the community as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All righty. Thank you very much. All right, council members. So at this point, we'll go over to consent calendar. We have items 1 through 6. Anyone wishing to pull any item out?
I'd like to pull number 4, please.
Sure. Councilmember Avila wishes to pull number 4. Anyone else? All right. If not, at this point, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the consent calendar with the exception of item number 4. That is my motion. Is there a second? Hello?
Second.
Okay, was seconded by Councilmember Alejandra Avila. Any objections? Being none, so moved. All right, so item number 4, which is the approval of tolling agreement between the city of Baldwin Park and the BKK working group. Councilmember Alejandra Avila.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to know a little bit more about this. I know I read the report here, but if you can just put it in simpler language, I don't know if Ron is here or who would be able to better explain this to me, like in a nutshell.
Councilmember Avila, I can do that.
Perfect.
So the BKK working group is a group that was appointed to clean up the BKK landfill. The BKK working group has gone through a bunch of documents related to who brought things in to the landfill.
Mm-hmm.
Baldwin Park is on some of those documents. We don't know how many. We don't know how much we may have brought to the landfill. It may be a little, it may be a lot, but the BKK working group would like to have us sign this tolling agreement, which means that the statute of limitations is tolled so that the BKK working group can find out who deposited there, who dumped there, and be able to bring everybody in together and decide what everybody needs to pay their fair share. Now that's going to turn into a big, huge litigation. So I don't think Baldwin Park put a bunch of stuff there. I think our dumping was pretty limited, but I don't know for sure yet because we don't have the documents. We don't have a litigation. But for right now, it's better to toll this so that they don't sue us, so that, you know, we don't get into a big, huge litigation all by ourselves because everybody else is tolling it. Mm-hmm. So I want to be part of that group, you know, part of the herd rather than be out there on our own.
On our own. And how would they have gotten this information? How would we have dumped this landfill?
I don't even know for sure that is accurate, Councilmember Avila. That's just what they're telling us. Now, mm-hmm. If we want to get into litigation, we can ask for all those documents and all that sort of thing. Right now, they're just claiming that to be true. And so what we're saying is, okay, you can claim whatever you want, but you know, we're going to toll everything and we're not going to do anything for now. And that's probably the best thing to do.
And have they said from what point, what date we started dumping into their facilities, or they don't have that information yet?
They have not. They just identified when everyone started dumping and when everyone stopped dumping and put us in that group.
Got it. Okay. I just wanted clarification because I read over it and I said, okay, well, how did they get this information? How much did we dump? But that's the process now. We'll figure out the rest. Okay.
Yeah. And like I say, I don't even know that they're accurate. Maybe we didn't dump anything, but for right now, you know, let's just say, okay, we'll toll and nobody's got to do anything.
And let's say we would have dumped something, we would have records somewhere. Who would have made that decision? That's a question. Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Tafoya, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So we're talking about the BKK up in West Covina?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, after all these years, I mean, well, and we had to deal with perchlorate dumping from the city of Azusa. So, okay. All right.
I know. I read that. Oh my goodness. What is this?
Okay. Monica Garcia.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, Monica.
Robert, no problem, Manny. It's an inside joke, everybody, okay? Robert, I have a question for you. So yes. BKK, if anything to do with BKK, because Waste Management has been our trash hauler for at least 30 years, would that all be documented through Waste Management?
I would have to assume so, Councilmember Garcia. I would imagine that if we did dump, they know. They've got the records.
Right. And I think that Waste Management has been using Soberante. So, yeah, if this protects us and reduces any liability, I support tolling. But I do want us to look very closely at this because if we've been using Waste Management, they will have records where they, where they have, what landfill they've used. And I understand that more recently they've been using Soberante.
Okay,
So
I will.
I don't know how long that's been in operation, but it's been at least 10 years. So I'm just curious, can you get us more information on, their claims and time frame? And then we can find out from Waste Management what our involvement is.
Yes, I will. I'll bring that back to the next meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Monica Garcia, Legal Counsel. Thank you very much. Let's get that wrapped up. BKK, I remember it at least about 30 years ago when that started up or more. All right, so at this point, we'll make a motion to approve item number 4 by Councilmember Alejandra Avila. I'll go ahead and make a motion to pass. Approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Alejandra Avila. Any objections? Seeing none, so moved. Thank you. All right, so at this point, we'll go over to the City Council acting as successor agency of the dissolved Community Development Commission consent calendar. So at this point, I'll go ahead and make a motion for SA successor agency to dissolve the Community Development Commission of the City of Ballpark warrants and demands, and I'll also include SA2, successor agency, August 2020. That is my motion for both SA1 and SA2. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Hernandez. Any objections? Seeing none, so moved. All right. This one we'll go over. I want to go ahead and move this to a following meeting, the appeals of the Planning Commission. They'll make a motion to reschedule this for a following meeting. That's my motion. Second, any objections? Seeing none, so moved. All right. All right. So at this, council members have any questions before we move on to the next two, finance and the Baldwin Park housing? If not, at this point, I'll go ahead and make a motion to close the city council meeting.
Did you announce that we're moving? Oh, never mind. Yes, you did.
Right. At this point, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the regular city council meeting.
I'd like to say something before we end the city council.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Something's happening there.
I got you now. I got you now. Thank you. Thank you. I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge Dr. Flores for doing our invocation this morning or earlier this evening. The pastor from Redeemer Church, I appreciate his great words. I also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge our great Chief Deputy City Clerk for all of her diligent work in prepping for this election and just the work that she does on a daily basis for all of us. So I want to thank you, Lulu, for everything that you do for all of us, especially. I want to thank the domestic violence, or thank for the domestic violence presentation. But I do want to, as the mayor said, I want to encourage the use of our services that we have available to us on a daily basis, because as Mayor mentioned, we have often utilized our Recreation Community Service department. I want to thank Manny Carrillo and his staff for always being available when we're needing vouchers, resources, or any of that kind of things. And I want to acknowledge staff for that. So thank you, Manny. And if you could tell Armando, because he's always available when we're in need of that. So thank you for all the work that you do. Lastly, I want to thank our library manager, Catherine. I appreciate all of the great work she does in our community, especially coming on here and explaining the services that we have available to our community. I've shared that with other educators in our city, but as well as those that I work with. I thank her for her extension of the sidewalk service hours, because I know some people are still in need of that and they're a little hesitant to, obviously we can't use the library. So thank you, Catherine, for that. And I know she's probably still listening, but I also want to thank her for acknowledging the passing of the 19th Amendment 100 years ago. And as she stated, in August of 1920. So as the mayor and I know, that's when my dad was born. So 100 years ago, when the passing of the 19th Amendment was done. So thank you for acknowledging that, Catherine. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Ayala. All right, so at this point, We'll go ahead and make a motion to adjourn from the city council. That is my motion. There's a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Hernandez. Any objections? Not so moved. All right, this one I'd like to open the Finance Authority. So I'll go ahead and move from consent calendar item 1. That is my motion. There's a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Councilmember Ayala. Any objections? So move. This one we'll go ahead and make a motion to adjourn the Finance Authority. That is my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Ayala. All right, at this point, I'd like to open up the Housing Authority. And we have both consent calendar items 1 and 2. I'll go ahead and make a motion to pass. Is there a second? Hello?
Second.
Okay, it was seconded by Councilmember Ayala. Any objection? So move. At this point, I'll go ahead and move to adjourn from the Housing Authority. That is my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second? All right. Okay, so who's the second by? Was that Alejandra, Councilman Alejandra Avila? Thank you very much. All right. So at this point, I want to say good evening, everyone. Be safe, and we'll get through this. At this point, I'll move for adjournment.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night,
Go
everyone.
Dodgers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.